She fell for the neighbor, but his dark secret took her life down a dangerous path. Today, I'll recap a thrilling and romantic film, The Boy Next Door. So, keep your eyes wide open and stay safe. The movie starts with Claire Peterson, a hardworking teacher who is trying to rebuild her life after catching her husband cheating with his secretary. Claire decides enough is enough and kicks her husband Garrett out of the house. This decision creates a huge rift in their family, especially with their teenage son Kevin, who feels stuck in the middle. Luckily, Claire has her best friend Vicky by her side. Vicky doesn't hold back and pushes Claire to sign those divorce papers and move on with her life. Claire knows she needs to take control, but part of her still hesitates. And then, things take a wild turn when the mysterious boy next door enters her life. For Kevin's birthday, Garrett shows up to celebrate with them at dinner. He tries to act like everything is fine, and even invites Claire and Kevin to join him on a fishing trip. The trip is supposed to happen right after a business meeting he has in San Francisco, the same place where his affair happened. Claire, still feeling hurt and betrayed, decides not to go. Even though she says no for herself, she allows Kevin to go spend time with his dad. Deep down, it's clear that Garrett's betrayal hasn't stopped stinging. One day, Claire is getting ready to take Kevin out when the garage door gets stuck. She tries to push it open but struggles. That's when a young man named Noah Sanborn steps in to help. Noah, who just moved in next door, says he's the nephew of Claire's neighbor who uses a wheelchair. Noah offers to fix the door, showing he's pretty handy. He even tags along with Kevin to the hardware store to grab the tools they need. After they leave, Claire has a quick chat with Noah's uncle, who shares some sad news. He explains that Noah's parents passed away last year, and he's still dealing with the heartbreak. The boys walk to the hardware store, chatting along the way. Kevin finds out that Noah is about to start at the same high school he goes to, and it just so happens to be where Claire teaches. Noah seems cool, and Kevin starts feeling like he's making a new friend. While they're picking up supplies, Kevin spots Allie Callahan, a girl from school he secretly has a crush on. She's working there, but Kevin gets so nervous that he can't even say hi. Noah notices and encourages Kevin to go over and talk to her, giving him a little boost of confidence. Kevin finally builds up the courage and heads to the counter to pay, while Noah takes the lead and introduces himself to Allie. Just when things seem to be going smoothly, trouble rolls in, literally. 3 punks on skateboards, led by a guy named Jason Zimmer, show up and start picking on Kevin right in front of Allie and Noah. It's clear Jason is looking to stir up trouble. Noah starts spending a lot of time with Kevin while his uncle is in the hospital. One afternoon, Claire invites him to join them for lunch, along with her best friend, Vicky. During the meal, Claire talks about her job teaching classic literature at school. Noah surprises everyone by quoting Homer and sharing how much he loves the Iliad. Claire can't help but be impressed by his knowledge and passion. Later, while hanging out at the house, Noah spots a pair of fancy stilettos in a box. Claire tells him they were a gift from Vicky, but she's never worn them. Noah smiles and says those shoes are for women trying too hard to be sexy, and Claire doesn't need to try. His bold comment catches her off guard, and he quickly apologizes for being too forward. With Kevin and Garrett off on their trip, Claire has the house to herself and starts getting ready to go out. While brushing her hair, she glances out the window and sees something unexpected. Noah is in his room, completely naked. For a moment, she's frozen, unable to look away. But then, Noah notices her watching. Embarrassed, Claire quickly ducks behind the curtains, her heart racing. She can't believe what just happened and tries to shake the moment from her mind. Claire decides to join Vicky on a double date at a nice restaurant. Vicky brings her boyfriend Ethan, and he invites his friend, Cooper, to tag along as Claire's date. At first, things seem okay, but it doesn't take long for Cooper to show his true colors. During the conversation, Claire talks about her love for classic literature, but Cooper rudely mocks her interests. When Claire defends her opinion, he smirks and calls her a firecracker, trying to brush her off. To make things worse, Claire catches him checking out a waitress instead of paying attention to their conversation. Feeling frustrated and disrespected, Claire decides she's had enough. She politely excuses herself, leaves the restaurant, and heads home, wishing she'd stayed in instead. One evening, Noah calls Claire, sounding a bit embarrassed but playful. He tells her he tried defrosting a chicken in the microwave, but it didn't go as planned. He asks if she can come over and help him cook it the right way. Claire hesitates at first, but decides to help, thinking it's just a neighborly favor. When she gets to his house, they laugh over his failed cooking attempt and work together to fix the meal. As they sit down to eat, Noah turns on the charm, flirting with Claire in a way that makes her both flattered and uncomfortable. While part of her feels drawn to him, another part knows it's not right. Before she can stop herself, Noah leans in and starts kissing her. His touch and confidence leave her caught off guard, and she finds herself unable to resist. One thing leads to another, and they share a night of intense passion that leaves Claire feeling a mix of excitement and guilt. The next morning, Claire wakes up feeling a wave of regret about what happened the night before. She knows it crossed a line and decides to be honest with Noah. When she sees him, she tells him that what they did was wrong and can't happen again. Noah's smile quickly disappears, and his expression changes to anger. Before Claire can say anything else, He punches the wall so hard that his knuckles start bleeding. Claire is shocked by his reaction and starts to realize just how intense and unpredictable Noah can be. Kevin and Garrett return from their trip and sit down for lunch with Claire. They're chatting and catching up when Noah suddenly shows up at the door. Claire tries to keep things casual and brings out a plate of cookies for everyone. As she sets the plate down, Noah looks at her with a sly grin and says, "Did you tell them what happened while they were gone?" Caught off guard, Claire quickly says there was a big rainstorm, trying to steer the conversation away. But Noah doesn't let it go and smirks, adding, "Yeah, it got really wet over there." Kevin, oblivious to the tension, offers Noah a cookie. Without missing a beat, Noah grabs one and says, "I love your mother's cookies." Claire's heart skips a beat as she realizes Noah isn't just flirting. He's playing a dangerous game. The school year kicks off, and Claire is starting her first class of the day. As she's getting settled, the principal walks in with some surprising news. He tells Claire that Noah is joining her class, saying he made it seem like Claire requested him to transfer in. Claire is stunned. It doesn't take long for her to put the pieces together. She suddenly realizes that Noah must have hacked into her computer to make it look like she asked for him to be there. Her stomach drops as she realizes how far Noah is willing to go to stay close to her. Kevin and Noah start hanging out more, even though Claire is starting to feel uneasy around Noah. One day, Noah invites Kevin to the woods, bringing along a gun that belongs to his uncle. Noah sets up a line of oranges and challenges Kevin to shoot them. While they're out there, Noah begins to talk about Kevin's dad, Garrett, and tries to make Kevin feel angry at him for cheating on Claire. Later that night, at the dinner table, things get tense when Garrett shows up. Kevin, still angry from what Noah said, suddenly yells at his dad. Claire is shocked, not understanding where this sudden anger is coming from, and it's clear that Noah's words have made a big impact on Kevin. Kevin meets Noah at the school gym, looking for a way to release his anger. Noah shows him the punching bag, and Kevin starts hitting it hard, trying to work out all his frustration. But Kevin goes a little too far, pushing himself too hard, and soon he starts feeling dizzy and weak. As Kevin's body begins to go into shock, Noah quickly runs to the locker and grabs Kevin's EpiPen. Without hesitating, he sticks it into Kevin's leg, and after a few moments, Kevin starts to feel better. Noah's quick thinking saves Kevin, and he's left feeling both grateful and shaken by how close he came to danger. Vicky surprises Claire at work with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. They both assume they're from Garrett, hoping he's trying to make things right. Claire calls him to thank him, but he denies sending them. Claire is confused and starts to think that maybe Noah is the one who sent the flowers. Determined to find out, Claire confronts Noah in the gym. As they talk, her frustration builds, and she ends up shoving Noah. A teacher nearby sees the whole thing and watches as Claire storms off. Claire feels embarrassed, realizing others may have seen what just happened. Kevin decides to go back to the hardware store to ask Allie if she wants to go to the movies with him. When he nervously asks, she smiles and tells him she can't go to the movies, but she would love to go with him to the fall fling. Kevin is excited but also a little nervous, knowing this is a big step. Allie's invitation makes him feel happy, and he can't wait for the dance. Claire and Garrett go out on a date, hoping to reconnect. As they sit together, Garrett starts to get too close, touching her in ways that make Claire uncomfortable. She's still hurt by the affair, but Garrett insists he wants to start fresh and fix things between them. The next morning, Noah sees them together and gets angry. He confronts Claire, telling her she shouldn't be with Garrett. Kevin, still upset about everything with his parents, overhears their argument. Feeling frustrated, he decides to ride to school with Noah instead of his dad. Jason and his friends start picking on Kevin, teasing him and making fun of him. Kevin, tired of being pushed around, decides to stand up to Jason. Just as the tension rises, Noah steps in, rushing over to kick Jason into the locker and repeatedly slamming his head against it. Vicky hears the noise and runs into the hallway to break up the fight. She tries to stop Noah, but he shoves her aside. At that moment, a bigger teacher rushes over and pulls Noah away. Noah is sent to the principal's office where Vicky, now acting as the vice principal, reveals that the school never received Noah's transcript from his previous school. She says he was kicked out for disorderly conduct. In a fit of rage, Noah insults her, calling her a dried-up dirty, but Vicky remains calm and raises her hand as if to strike him. However, Noah grabs her hand before she can do anything. He storms out of the office, and Vicky expels him from the school. Claire volunteers to chaperone the fall fling and leaves Kevin with Allie for the night. While Claire is checking on things, Allie tells her about a leak in the boys' bathroom. When Claire goes to turn off the sink, she notices something shocking written on the wall. "I fucked Claire Peterson." Just then, Noah steps out of the shadows, acting like he's going to hurt Claire. He tries to force himself on her, but Claire quickly kicks him in the stomach. She's furious and tells him to stay far away from her and Kevin from now on. The next day, Claire arrives at school to find her students locked out of the classroom. She opens the door, only to be shocked by what she sees inside. Hundreds of pictures are scattered all over the room, showing Claire and Noah in very private moments. Even more pictures are printing out from the printer. Panicked, Claire quickly unplugs the printer and starts trying to gather up the photos, her hands shaking as she works. Just as she's trying to hide the pictures, the principal walks in. Claire opens the door so the students can come in, trying to act normal. The principal pulls Claire aside, his face full of concern. He tells her he's heard about her confrontation with Noah in the gym and asks her to be careful. Claire feels a knot in her stomach, realizing her personal life is starting to spill into her work life. Garrett picks Kevin up from school, planning to let him drive the car home. Kevin, still angry at his dad, drives the car fast, holding on to his frustration. He speeds down the road, not realizing that the brakes aren't working. Kevin panics when he can't stop the car, swerving to avoid hitting two other cars. Just in time, Garrett grabs the wheel and helps steer the car into a row of water containers along the road. The car finally stops, and both of them are shaken up, but Kevin's anger is still burning inside. Claire comes home and notices a dent in Garrett's car. When she asks about it, Garrett and Kevin don't explain what happened and assure her they're both okay. Later, Claire finds them watching TV with Noah. Noah follows Claire into the kitchen, and she tells him about the pictures. He smirks and admits he has a video of their night together. He tells her that if she wants the video, she has to come to his house. Later that night, Claire decides to go to Noah's house. When she gets there, Noah promises to give her the video, but only if she agrees to keep sleeping with him. Claire is furious and refuses, storming out of his house. Claire finally opens up to Vicky and tells her everything that has been happening. She feels overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do. Claire asks Vicky for help, hoping she can figure out a way to stop Noah. Vicky listens carefully, then gives Claire some advice. She tells Claire to go to Noah's house and find the tape on her own. "You need to get in there and take control of the situation," Vicky says, determined to help her friend. Noah thinks he's following Claire's car, but when he gets closer, he realizes it's Vicky instead. Quickly, he turns his car around. Vicky, noticing him, calls Claire just as Claire is sneaking into Noah's house. Inside, Claire searches the house and soon finds a hidden camera behind a clock above the fireplace. She walks down to the basement and is shocked to see hundreds of pictures of herself on the walls. Claire then looks at Noah's laptop and finds a bunch of pictures and videos. She deletes everything, but notices two strange files with pictures of car brakes. Claire realizes that Noah might have been the one who tampered with Garrett's car brakes, and even with a minivan. As Claire is trying to process this, Noah's uncle suddenly shows up. Scared, Claire quickly runs back home. Claire meets with a detective to find out more about Noah. She learns that Noah's parents died in a car accident. His dad swerved into a truck, causing the crash. The detective then takes Claire to see the wrecked car. Claire realizes it's the same minivan from Noah's laptop. She feels a chill run down her spine as she puts the pieces together. At home, Claire calls Vicky for help. Suddenly, she hears a loud bang on the door and gets scared, thinking it's Noah. Vicky tells Claire to bring Kevin to her house for safety. The door opens, but it's just Kevin standing there. After Claire and Kevin hang out with Vicky, Noah suddenly appears and knocks Vicky out by hitting her on the head. Claire is shocked and scared for her friend. Noah calls Kevin and asks him to come over to Vicky's house. When Kevin arrives, he finds Vicky tied up and gagged. Noah then calls Claire, using a recording of Vicky's voice to trick her into coming over. Claire has no idea what's going on, but she's worried about her friend. Claire arrives at Vicky's house, and everything is dark because the lights have been turned off. As she walks inside, she gets startled by Vicky's cat and accidentally bumps into a closet. To her horror, the closet door opens and Vicky's lifeless body falls out. Noah had slashed her throat. Claire screams in terror and runs out of the house, calling the police. Just as she's getting into her car, Noah grabs her and drags her out. Claire tells him she knows he killed his parents. Noah opens up saying that he loved his mother, but after his father cheated on her, she killed herself. In his anger and pain, he sabotaged the minivan to kill both his father and the woman he was with. Noah takes Claire to an old barn where Garrett and Kevin are tied up. He tells Claire that he'll kill both of them unless she agrees to stay with him. In a burst of courage, Claire grabs a wrench and hits Noah with it. She rushes over to Kevin to untie him, but Noah gets up and pulls Claire away. He pours kerosene all around Garrett and Kevin, threatening to set them on fire. He lights a match, but Claire shoves him, making him drop it. The kerosene catches fire, and the barn starts to burn. Garrett manages to free himself and wraps the rope from his wrist around Noah's neck. Noah pulls out a gun and shoots Garrett in the chest. In a panic, Claire grabs Kevin's EpiPen and jams it into Noah's eye. She tries again to untie Kevin, but Noah keeps fighting back. She pushes her finger into his eye, and it starts to bleed and ooze pus. Kevin finally breaks free from the rope and hits Noah with a block of wood, but Noah shoves him off. He points his gun at Kevin and says, "Sometimes heroes have to make tough choices." Claire calls out to Noah, saying, "You're no hero," before pulling a lever that drops an engine onto Noah, killing him once and for all. Claire and Kevin pull Garrett to safety and walk out of the burning barn. The paramedics and police show up at the barn. They carefully wheel Garrett into the ambulance, with Claire and Kevin sitting beside him. Claire keeps telling Garrett that everything will be okay, and that they're finally going home. She tries to comfort him, knowing that after everything they've been through, they can start fresh. So, which awesome movie should we recap next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below and let's make it happen. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss out on our movie recaps. We've got plenty more coming your way. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Produced by Warner Movie Recaps.